Grin and welcome to the third attempt of filming the first episode of Book Club this year, following two unfortunate technical difficulties, which also just so happens to be the first video recorded in front of the new background. In the previous episode of Book Club, I had a look at Sophie's World, which was unfortunately a novel I felt had a twist that was rather poorly done. And so in this subsequent episode, I felt I should instead go for the positive and take a look at the novel that I feel to be the golden standard when it comes to twists done right, which is none other than Fight Club. Now, if you've not watched the movie or read the novel, don't worry, I'm not going to actually say what the twist is, but if you have somehow managed to avoid it up to this point, you should probably not read the comments, and you should probably watch the movie or read the novel really quickly, because it's quite shocking you've managed to avoid it to this point. And so, Fight Club. When I was talking about Sophie's World, one of my main complaints about the actual twist was that it felt like it made no sense, and that it wasn't very well planned out, and that the author just sort of shoehorned it in the end because he didn't really have a good ending to the novel. In Fight Club, however, what Chuck Palahniuk's done, and I do hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but I'm almost certain that I'm not, is clearly plan out the entire twist from the beginning of the novel. If you read it for a second time or watch the movie for a second time, you can see hidden all throughout it hints, clues, and foreshadowing as to what the twist is actually going to be. And as such, Fight Club, both the movie and the novel, are a piece of media that demands to be watched a second time, as it recontextualizes basically the entire movie once you know what the twist actually is. I know that the first time I watched it, I didn't actually get the twist until moments before the actual reveal, and I think that's a strong indicator of a twist done right. There should be, for the reader or viewer, every piece of information needed for them to put it together themselves, and so when the actual final reveal happens, it feels like a revelation rather than just a lazily done plot device. In Fight Club, it definitely feels like a revelation. In Sophie's World, well, unfortunately, it just feels lazy. And while I've primarily chosen to talk about Fight Club in this video in order to contrast its twist with Sophie's World, to briefly move past the twist alone, the story of Fight Club is fascinating, and the writing style of Chuck Palahniuk is bizarre and utterly enthralling. I believe I read the novel in one night, and then read it a second time the next night because I found it just so enjoyable. Now, you might have noticed earlier I said the first time I was watching it, and indeed, the first time that I actually was introduced to Fight Club was in its film version. And why I bothered to mention this is many of you out there have probably seen the movie, and so know the twist and are wondering if the novel's worth your time when you already know what the story is. And I've got to say, yes, it definitely is. I enjoyed the movie so much that I immediately watched it a second time, and then I enjoyed the second time so much that I immediately got the novel and read that twice also. I enjoyed both the movie and the novel so thoroughly that I actually have trouble picking which I prefer, and so I've got to say it's probably my favourite film adaptation of a novel, and so if you did enjoy the film and you are looking for a good read, then I definitely suggest you check out Fight Club. And alternatively, if you've read the novel and you're wondering if the movie's worth your time, well, yes, definitely. It's probably one of my favourite film adaptations of a novel. They do, of course, change quite a few things and remove a lot of sections from it, as all film adaptations do, but overall, it definitely, in my opinion, manages to nail the overall vibe of the novel. And so, Fight Club. Chances are, most of you have already watched it or read it, and the ones that haven't are probably tired of hearing about it. But in my opinion, it's talked about for a very good reason, and it is, I feel, the golden standard for twists done right. And with all of that said and done, as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, I have been and still am Grindle.